Alright, I'm going to teach you how to lower a truck or a car with Photoshop. Been doing this for a long time. It's pretty easy to do. You got to do a lot of cleanup work. That's a lot of lowering a car, in my opinion, is cleaning up the background to make it look right. So I'm going to start making a selection around this vehicle. This is my personal truck. I generally would like to start somewhere in the back of the truck, maybe on, or the car, on the tail light, and then work my way around the entire edges of the car, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to grab the pen tool and start making a selection. I have videos on how to make selections in my channel. You can find them looking around if you need to know how to do it with the pen tool. But I guess you could use other ways to do it too. But you really want to make it accurate, as accurate as possible for this, because if you have nasty, rough, jaggedy edges, you're going to see that once it starts moving. So you want to get as tight on the corners as you can. This is not the fun part of the video. Pretty boring just watching this, but again, as accurate as you can get it. The wheel well, you lose a little bit because it's really dark, so when I'm zoomed in at 100%, it's harder to see, so I might zoom in and out a little bit to just try and eye out where the fender well is, quarter panel well, whatever. Now again, you could look at this line right now and see that it's not perfectly straight, but because the wheel well is so dark, when this actually goes down, you're not going to notice anything there. Now my truck has an undercarriage that sits below the actual side skirt, so if yours is like that, you would want to select the undercarriage as well, so that when you lower it, the undercarriage goes with it. Unless, of course, you want to get rid of your undercarriage. I guess you could lower it, the body over it, but we're going to keep this. So follow the lines, and once I get here, the undercarriage is actually a pretty straight shot all the way down the side. Makes it easy for selection, so you can get a big jump. And then just continue on up the fender, and down to the front bumper cover. Again, just follow the edge of the truck or car. Cars are really pretty easy to work with because they have nice lines to follow. Now from here, I'm going to go maybe up to the front bumper, maybe to the front headlight. Right here looks good. Now at this point, what you want to do is select the entire background of this image as tight as you can get it to the edges, because what you want to do is move the background down with the truck. Because if I was just to select the body of the truck all the way around to the back around it, and I lowered it down, you're going to just see a big white space behind this. And you're not going to be able to really blend that together really well to look realistic. So by moving the entire background, you're just going to lose the very top of the picture, and you could just cut that right off from the image, and it's going to look real. You're going to get some stuff if you have some, if you have some stuff in the background, you're going to get, like this car is going to be messed up when it gets lowered, and the parking strips might be a little funky, and there's going to be some white around the edges and the quarter panels, but those are really easy to clone out, and I'll show you how to do that too. So we're going to continue on with this selection around, and just grab your pen tool, zoom back in maybe. Oh, you can see I closed off this path, so I want to undo that. I want to keep these keys, these points there. So grab your pen tool, and you're going to just go out as straight and far to the edge as possible. Photoshop will let you. And then up to the top, all the way over to the back of the image, and now down to as even as with this line as you can get with this point. And we'll say that, look, right there, and then connect the dot. And now this is your path. To turn this path to a selection, you just go into the path tab, alt click, or on the Mac command click, and you're going to turn that into a path. And we're going to zoom back out to 25%. Now with my truck, it sits a little bit higher in the back. When I lower things, I like them to be even most of the time. My cars in real life have been lowered, and you know, I like them to be nice and straight and pretty much even. If that's not your thing, then I guess you don't need to worry about this step, but I'm going to do a free or a transform, edit, transform, rotate. I'm just going to try and balance this out a little bit. Now you're going to see some noticeable, you'll see the background change. Like that, see the blue coming through. That is going to be, the majority of that is going to be fine. That looks about even there. Okay, and I'm just going to leave it like that. Now you could deselect just to see. That looks good. So now I'm just going to undo that, keep the selection going. Grab your move tool. Now you can do it with the mouse and just drag it down, but you're going to get a lot more artifacting behind here by doing that because you're moving it left and right. With the rotate, that's what happened there. But I'm just going to use the down arrow key on my keyboard, and I'm going to bring this bad boy down. Now I like to try and make it look realistic, so you know, you want to kind of want it to look like what a car lowered would actually look like in real life. You could body drop it, I suppose, like the real mini truckers do, and lay frame. But on this Trailblazer, that just does not look right. Well, it does. It looks right. It just, you know, not really possible. These things are hard to lower that low. So we're just going to leave it there. That looks pretty good. And we're going to unselect. Yeah, it's nice and low in the back. Front's pretty close to the same. Now what you've got is some blue still background here. You can notice when we lowered it, it got rid of that line that was there. But you've got this chopped up car back here now. And you know, this blue strip at the top. You can see where I rotated it around and now dragged it down. So we're going to fix all that real quick. The perfect thing in this picture is this mulch right here. It's not, you know, in one unique design. It's kind of just a bunch of rock that's different color, and there's blotches, so it's perfect thing to use for the clone tool. We're going to zoom in over here, and you're going to grab your clone tool, make sure it's on clone stamp, not pattern stamp, and I'm going to grab a big brush just to get rid of this big area back here. You can use whatever brush you want, whatever fits, and you're going to alt click to make to target any area. You know, this bullseye is going to basically clone that section, so we're going to click into it and grab that, and then just paint this mulch over there and get rid of that blue. That's why the perfect image to work with is, you know, just a side shot of the car and not too much going on in the background. You don't have to worry about doing all this, but you know, you can only work with what you got. And this is from a phone and I wasn't trying to set this up for this purpose. I just happen to use this picture. So now at this point, since it's closer to the truck, I'm going to grab a smaller brush. Now I'm working on the original background layer. It's probably not that great of an idea. When you start painting and adjust and messing with that, you should have actually probably created another layer. But with the way the clone stamp tool works is you're selecting from each individual layer. So if I was to clone this new layer, I wouldn't have anything. I have to keep going back and forth from the original and then painting onto the new one. So it just becomes a hassle. So I'm just painting it real, you know, on the original layer. And I'm just going to get rid of this. And I keep clicking away, just all clicking different sections of this mulch, trying to make it look as blended as possible. I'm going to have to do the curb here. And we're going to have to do this line of